Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the Jeffrey Daugherty Show. It's Tuesday, the 17th. This is our next to last show in this format. If you've listened the last couple of nights, you know that a week from tomorrow, on March the 4th, we are moving the whole thing over to the Intrepid Paradigm Radio Network at intrepidparadigmradio.com, I think, or maybe it's intrepidparadigm.com. You can check either one of those out. And we will be having a 2-hour show every Wednesday from 9 until 11 Eastern, which of course is 6 to 8 Pacific. And we'll be looking forward to having each and every one of you there. It's a big move for us, an exciting move, and we're looking forward to being on a great and growing network and getting this message out to even more people. We'll also be debuting on that same day our new website. You'll be able to get us at jeffreydaugherty.com, that's Jeffrey, or at christianwhistleblower.com, and that'll all be taking place again 1 week from this coming Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, and we're looking forward to having 2 hours a week to share with you. We'll be having guests now and again, but we're going to be giving you more of the same good stuff we've been giving you for the last, I guess it's been 3 or 4 years now. But I wanted to talk tonight. It's funny, I'm writing another book right now, and I have a Bible that I have used, I suppose, for probably at least 20 years. So it's got 20 years of notes in it, and the notes, a lot of them are rather embarrassing. A lot of them are rather forgetful because, there are notes that I made when I was deep in the belly of the beast, when I was deep into Orthodox Christianity. But I saw one today as I was preparing. I had written down, and who knows how many years ago this was, but what I wrote down was faith and fear are connectors. And that was very profound for a person in the position that I was in, because that's actually a very spiritual observation. And it's very striking to me because typically faith and fear are connectors. And typically, as I was trying to say before I got distracted, religion and spirituality are mutually exclusive. And to the extent that a person is religious, that means to the lesser extent they will be spiritual. So the more religious you get, the less spiritual you can be. The more spiritual you get, the less religious you can be, because religion is man trying to manufacture a way to God, and often a God of his own making. And of course, spirituality is discovering who we are, discovering what the universe is, and discovering what the divine really is. But faith and fear are connectors, because faith connects us to the balanced energy and the great power of the energy and vibration that is beneficial. And at the same time, fear is a connector, connects us to the unbalanced energy and to the frequency and the vibration that is disharmonious and not helpful to us. So faith and fear are connectors, and you're going to be plugged into one or the other. And it is something where you have to make the decision to be plugged into faith on a moment-by-moment basis, because our default really is fear. And we are fed a steady diet of fear. So if you want to be a person that is connected via faith and a person that is plugged into positive frequency, positive modulation, positive vibration, that's the word I was looking for, and really positive, negative, that's a dualistic way to look at things, but balanced things and energies, then you want to be plugged into faith, because if you don't, you will be by default plugged into the unbalanced via fear. So I saw that, wanted to mention it. makes great sense to me. And it's nice to know that during the 20 years that I was a minister, it wasn't all bad stuff. It wasn't all garbage. It wasn't all worthless. But tonight I was thinking, and we do a lot of talk about conspiracy. We do a lot of presentation about conspiracy. And when we're in the genre that we're in, and when we're woken up, so to speak, we begin to look and see conspiracy all around us. And there are a lot of conspiracies around us. There is a lot of conspiracy around us. I mean, you've got, Coast to Coast, that show, which is still a great show. I know a lot of people have problems with it. I think it's a great show. And you've got lots of shows of that genre, and they're all talking about conspiracy. They're all talking about things, going bump in the night. You've got the whole Alex Jones genre as well. So you've got a lot of conspiracy talk out there, and people are very much aware of conspiracy, and that's typically a good thing. I mean, think about it. UFOs. People talk about UFOs constantly, continuously. I mean, I'm just finished a book, Aliens in the New Testament, the final message of the last apostle. So UFOs are big news. UFOs are relevant news. And the whole idea of extraterrestrial UFO ET mythology is very relevant. And of course, we have the 9/11 conspiracy that we're still unearthing and still discovering things about. And I think the only person that now still believes in the official story of 9/11 is, maybe a person that's been in a coma since 9/10 and has just woken up and just read the dominant media's portrayals of 9/11. We know that it certainly was not what was presented to us. There's a lot of theories that seem to make sense, but the one thing that doesn't make sense, I saw something on Facebook the other day. It was like that Star Wars Death Star shooting at the World Trade Center, and of course it blowing up, one of those big walking things in Star Wars shooting at it, and the caption was, both still more believable than the official story of 9/11. And it's true. It's true. We have conspiracy about the Federal Reserve and the money supply and the whole financial situation of not only the United States and the world, and that certainly is a conspiracy. And you have conspiracies about FEMA, of course, Federal Emergency Management Agency, how they're going to herd people into camps. We have these clergy crisis teams in the Christian churches that are going to be helping with that. We have the conspiracies about false flags. You have the Charlie Hebdo, and you just have all of these things happening, and they are conspiracies, and they are things that we should be aware of, and they are things that we should talk about. And yet, I can't help but notice, and I can't help but think and understand and see that those things are talked about a lot. And yet the most basic conspiracy, the most basic false flag, the one that touches every area of our lives, every day of our lives, goes for the most part undiscussed. It goes for the most part untouched. It goes for the most part looked the other way. It's like the truth movement does not reach into this area. And in fact, a lot of people within the truth movement are bound by this conspiracy and will not allow any dissension. I find that very interesting. I find myself shut out of some of the truth, quote unquote, movement programs and shows because they are still bound by this conspiracy, and they won't allow me to move into their realm or be on their programs because I am exposing this conspiracy. And it's a conspiracy that really the UFOs, the 9/11, the Fed, the FEMA, the false flags, it's all based upon this conspiracy that no one wants to talk about. everyone wants to ignore. It's like the third rail of conspiracy. I need to write that down. Pardon me just for a second. I'm going to write that down. The third rail of conspiracy. That's good stuff, because it's what it is. It's something that everybody knows is there, but they don't want to touch it, because the analogy is the third rail on a subway or a commuter transit. They've got two rails that the train runs on, and that third rail is the rail that has all the juice in it, all the electricity that powers the train. And if you touch that third rail, what you get is instant death. And that's why that's why the saying is about you can't touch the third rail. And that's kind of they call Social Security the third rail politically. So this third rail of conspiracy really is the conspiracy of Christianity. The fact that the message of Yeshua, who was the true name of the man from Nazareth, the man from Galilee, the true big real base conspiracy of them all is that the man named Yeshua had his message co-opted and sold under the name of Jesus, and the true message of the 12 apostles has been co-opted, changed, and morphed into the message of this new guy called Jesus, which is a message that is a fear and guilt-based control matrix. And that's really what we are here to do, is to expose the Christian matrix, expose the Christian conspiracy. And it is a conspiracy that touches every area of Western life. And it touches every area of our life, every single day of our life. When you think about, the UFOs, I'm telling you, folks, when you see the information that I've been able to discover in the new book, you will see that UFO imagery surrounds the great events of the life of Yeshua or Jesus. You're going to see that UFOs and Christianity are tied together. When you talk about 9/11, that control matrix, that removal of liberties, that creation of fear and the propagation of warfare, you're going to see that's all also tied up within the Christian conspiracy. The Federal Reserve, the federal government, the Federal Emergency Management, false flags, it's all started and assisted and helped being perpetuated by the Christian conspiracy. And we're going to continue to move on as we move to the new network to talk about this and show this in excruciating to some detail. We'll have 2 hours to go over all of this, and we will do so. And we will not stop. We will not slow down, even though, we do get shut out of some places. This is the message of the hour, and it's a message that's really going to set us free. Because when you see the man behind the curtain, then you know that someone is pulling the strings. And folks, I used to work for the man behind the curtain, so I'm uniquely qualified to bring you and to bust the Christian conspiracy. So starting a week from tomorrow, we're going to be breaking the 2,000 years of indoctrination 2 hours at a time. And I can't wait to lock and load and get started. It's the third rail of conspiracy, but we are going to be touching it, and we are going to be making it known. That's why I'm the Christian whistleblower. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, wishing you peace and light.